It's just gonna be the ASMR VHS one.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the
Hello,
Flashback.
everyone. Who's here? Hello. Welcome to this. Hello.
Welcome to the Embrace of the Void.
Hello. Welcome. To what usually is Project VHS. This is Project VHS Lite. As you can see, there's only 2 of the 7 of us. Because everyone else is being lovely, and either has life obligations or is at PAX. If you're at PAX and you're watching this, hello. If not, we love you still and have a great time. We wish we could be there, but next year. But because we are here, we decided to do something with our Thursday nights. And what better thing to do than to go be sad space people? But before they got into space. So tonight we're going to kind of be diving into a little bit of the behind, not the behind, the before the stream of the relationship between Cain and Eva prior to being launched into space for 2 years. To do that, we'll be using a new game called Hidden Qualities. It was crafted during the Ad Astra Jam by our very own Other Doc, who also does their own things. So follow them on Twitter for all of their cool things. Well, we're going to be using Hidden Qualities to kind of dive a little bit more into personal stuff between Eva and Natasha. But prior to doing that, hello. If you don't know who I am, I'm Maria. I'm at HappyCapster on Twitter. I use she, they pronouns. And today I'm going to be playing a much sadder and younger Eva Delgado, the anthropologist and Martian archaeologist of this here space Michelin. And because she's lovely, I also have Val here on this side.
Sup, I'm Val. Hi, I'm Val. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing I was like, I am Natasha. No, we're not. I am playing Natasha Cain, but a slightly more standoffish, also younger, needs to chill version of Natasha Cain from like episode 1. And she also uses she, her pronouns. And bye.
uh, um, so let me get this. Let me get this here music started. Play. There it goes. Haha. So, like many GM-less games, this game is GM-less. We have no GM. It is us, the two of us, just the two of us. And to start off this here one-on-one session, we get to decide the nature of a mission that we're going on. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but Val, I think you had an eloquent way of saying this, and I don't remember exactly what it was. So we can talk about it. We can change it if we want to. But what was your idea?
My idea was in kind of a simulation format, so whether that was a virtual reality, but I was thinking like were they one of those things where they have like a simulated experience in a craft, and perhaps there was like putting into smaller numbers to test out how the crew would work if there were any
Compatibility.
sudden accidents for compatibility. Or like, hi, hang out in here for a little while. We're gonna test your compatibility and make sure you don't freak out in space.
Cool.
Really, we're gonna make sure you guys get along and can survive in space.
And don't murder each other or whatever.
Exactly.
No, I think that's really cool. Yeah, so we are on missions, and typically you pick a single mission. Rules as written. I think it would be cool if we did there are 3 rounds that we take. Each round, each of us gets to choose essentially a scene to do that explores hidden qualities of ourselves, hence the title of the name. I think it would be cool if we did like different missions for each of the rounds, essentially, doing different things in those missions, or something along those lines, since we're not really going anywhere.
I love that idea.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So, our general mission is being thrown into a chamber-ish, a small compatibility test, and dealing with situations that arise within. So technically we don't have a ship. There is a part of the game where you can decide on the ship and give it a name and everything like that. We are, I assume, on the site of the UNS, etc. We're basically at like the United Nations space program place. And the specific vessel that we're in, I don't think is very big. I think maybe it has like a cockpit mock-up and like maybe 2 other rooms, like sleeping chambers, maybe. But I guess actually, technically, it would be a mock-up of the Erebus.
But I was wondering about how big the Erebus was, because we've got like...
I mean, I vaguely recall it being not like super full of rooms, but fairly elongated.
Yeah, like it was long in length.
Yeah.
Be interesting, yeah, because they were gonna, they're testing our compatibility and like how you would deal in stressful situations upon the ship. It makes sense that we would be like in a mock-up version, maybe a slightly small, maybe like small, like a model version of the Erebus.
Yeah.
And so we're like, and then just open it. We're like, go nuts, have fun, kids.
Hope I broke everything.
No.
We're back. No, we're fine.
Oh.
It's fine. I just made us freeze for a second. We're here. It's fine.
It's fine, but nothing's wrong.
The void isn't here, I promise.
It's okay. It's before the void.
So technically our ship is the Erebus. Rebrish. Or at least a very stationary, very not in space. Erebus. Aruba.
A Rubik's Cube.
The next bit is we name our characters. We already have names for our characters. I am Dr. Eva Delgado. And I am, according to the rules of the things on this mission, I'm technically a scientist. Technically. I study the science of people and dead languages and new aliens, Martian stuff.
I discover new languages and Martian stuff. And my name is Natasha, _ Longshot Cain. And in the my official role on this ship is pilot/navigator. And in the dock it says navigator. So, haha! I'm great, doing great.
Perfect. So the biggest thing about this particular game is that each of us has different qualities that are either visible or hidden. You start the game with 1 visible quality and then 3 hidden qualities, and those can change to become either visible qualities, or you can gain ones that you hadn't even thought of before, etc., etc. But by the end of the game, the session, we'll each have 4 visible qualities. So we'll learn something about each other. And there's a bunch of good examples about what qualities could be, like being personality traits like funny or quirky, or activity-based things like gymnast or tinkerer or skateboarder. Or things that like defined your past, like attending private school or recently widowed or something like that.
What?
What?
I didn't see that in the doc. Wow.
So we name one of our visible qualities to start out with. And this is something that all of the characters, if we were playing with more than just the two of us, it's something that our characters know about each other. So something definitely that is very apparent is that Eva is a bookworm. Always reading. Always in her, like, in a book, with a book. Usually it's paper-based, or with a tablet. Because that's what she would rather be doing. She would rather be reading.
We love her sad space name so much. I think I googled synonyms for this to find the right one. I think Natasha, what would be evident about her is she's standoffish, or reserved would probably be. Yeah, reserved is a better word. She's reserved. Is like just it keeps herself and is very formal around people, and just doesn't talk much unless asked questions. And even then, it's just yep, cool. Nice.
To the point. Nice.
Nice.
Cool. So now we have that starting visible quality. So now we get to name 3 hidden qualities that our characters do not know about each other, but that we do. The point is not to hide things from each other necessarily. We, in fact, want to help each other figure these things out in character. So, we get to pick 3 of them that are hidden from the other. Well, I think one that is hidden at this point in time is the fact that, Eva, at this point, this would have been about... I was assuming it was about halfway through training, so it would have been approximately like 3 years prior to Project VHS as we know it.
Yeah.
Which would have been approximately 2 years after her husband died. So... her hidden quality is going to be, quote unquote, recently widowed.
Eva.
It's sad.
It's sad.
She just came to terms with it. Now we get to go back and be sad again.
And talk to them.
It's fine.
It's all fine. None of us cried. It's all fine.
Everything is great. Okay. What about a hidden quality for Cain?
Oh, this is gonna be a... How much time do we have? So many hidden qualities, so many lies.
Well, you only need to pick 3.
Think, yeah, because it... Oh, yeah. Define... I'm not sure how short I can make it.
I think you can make it as short or as... It needs to be compact, but, like, you know, not a paragraph, but it can be, like, more than 1 word.
I think the hidden quality is that she was essentially blackmailed into joining.
Okay.
Because she got a choice. Either you can join this mission, or I can let the guards outside arrest you. And that was the choice is presented to her. And so she's here, but also not here by... She's here by choice, but also there's an element of, like, the guillotine and the dark cloud hanging.
The darkness.
The darkness.
Interesting. Okay, well, since that may come up also later, something that is in a similar vein. Eva is, let's see, how do I describe this? I'm bad at words.
I just want a mood though.
She, I think, would have been, I'll come back to that one. That one I need to think of. I need to think of that a little bit more. Let's see. Well, okay. A hidden one would be, I think at this point also, is lonely.
Why? Why can't we just give Eva hugs?
Listen, hugs are happening 3 years in the future. Right now, she's just real lonely. She's all by herself.
Trying to think of it, because one of the qualities I had was also lonely.
I mean, we can both be lonely, because we're all lonely. But we're all lonely together.
I just realized I thought of one. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, okay.
Drop things.
Drop thing. Okay, I'm gonna save the lonely one, decide whether I'm gonna put it last. Hidden one for Natasha is that she Dan let me do this and I'm really happy about it. She is dyslexic and knows how to read basic but really struggles on more complex wording, and I'm really happy that I got to put my own thing into.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Eva definitely wasn't blackmailed into this mission. But okay. Let's see. I think, actually, it's gonna just be suspicious.
Oh.
Just as a general... Or... cautious. There it is. That's better. For reasons that may come up later.
I'm gonna put her last one. I don't know if it's the right wording, but calculating.
Okay.
She always expects people to betray her, so she tries to figure out their strengths and weaknesses so she can use it against them first.
Oh, good.
She's fine. They're both fine.
They're both real good. It's totally fine. So,
we deal with it 3 years in the future. It's fine.
This is true. This is true. Right now, it's just a mess. Okay. So now that we have laid out all of the qualities that we're gonna potentially explore, we at this point would take turns describing our characters to each other. What we can do essentially is just a brief overview of things that we haven't really delved too much into necessarily. Let's see. Oh, do we describe each other to each other? Okay, how do you want to do this? Because it can be one of two ways. Either we can describe our characters to each other, or we can have our characters meet each other. Because the first thing we do before we begin gameplay official is we give an initial assessment of the other character, answering questions like, what do you like best about them, and what do you look forward to, you know,
I saw
those
that.
questions.
I was really excited about those ones.
Because essentially you're telling mission control about your crewmates.
Yeah.
So, we could either do that in character, or we could do other things. I think it would be more fun to do it in character.
I think it would be really fun to do it in character.
It looks at both of us.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. All right. So, where would they first meet? Orientation.
Orientation. Please take your packet and go sit in your assigned seat.
Yes.
Oh, I think, because we all would have met, I imagine, at some, because we all got recruited, so there must have been, like, some point before we started training that they were like, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Meet all of your new science buddies, your new space pals.
Hands up if you're a doctor. 3 of you, that's okay then.
Half? All right.
We can work with this.
1 bodyguard for each. You're not a body. Well, that's okay, Glitch. You are important.
It's like, one of this is a forgery, one of you has no idea, and the other is just excited to be here.
The other just wants to make sure everyone gets out alive.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Well, I think this scene. Do you think Natasha would have gotten there first? I'm just gonna assume that we're there before and or after anyone else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you want it to be before our like initial powwow or afterwards? After we got like the big picture debrief.
It would be quite cool to see before the big powwow where they're just like, hi.
Just you're a person.
Are you a doctor? Yeah. Totally.
Okay, cool. Okay. Cool. So I feel like Eva might have gotten there before. Maybe not super early, but would have found some place to sit. I imagine this is like almost like a lecture hall sized area, and there's only 6 of us there. So she would be like 5 seats back, and have like a book and then a notebook, and just reading through it and writing things down prior to this big important meeting.
Not so much. Natasha, I don't know why I have this scene in mind, but I just imagine that it has been pelting it with rain, and Natasha rides the motorcycle, because of course she does. So when she comes into the lecture hall, she like pulls off her helmet, and she's got this bright shock of red hair, and it's completely soaked, and she looks completely damp, and just kind of walks in with the traditional like really like resting angry face, and just kind of walks straight to the row behind Eva, and just kind of sits down, puts her helmet down, and just kind of stares at the board like she's mad at it.
And turn around as you're the only other human in this room right now. Hi.
Hi.
Extend a hand, kind of turned around awkwardly. I'm Dr. Delgado, or Eva, if you prefer.
I'm just gonna like slowly reach the hand down. Okay. My call sign is Longshot. Either of those are fine. Nice to meet you, Dr. Delgado.
So what brings you to this fine neighborhood?
I have to go out of character for a moment. I love her so much! What brings you to this fine neighborhood? Oh, back into stoicism. I should just kind of blink at you and tilt her head slightly, like,
I mean, besides
space, yeah.
Specific. Never mind. And she'll just kind of turn awkwardly back around and like pull her hair to her side. She has the left side is super buzzed and short, but the right side is just kind of like cascades down in like this really large, voluminous brownish black hair.
Like a few, like a minute and a half is gonna go by, and it's just gonna be like, I'm the pilot.
Turns back around. Oh, that's really important. Huh?
I mean, it's not a PhD, but yeah.
No, but we're going to space. We're going to far space. I think having someone who knows how to move the large rocket shooting us into deep spaces, that's important. So, yeah, I studied dead things. Kind of. I'm an anthropologist. I study like lost civilizations and weird mysteries and languages, and recently did some stuff on Mars, but yeah, that's why I'm going. Weird stuff in space. Maybe there's who knows what could be out there.
Just to clarify, you studied dead things, but you mean you studied dead languages?
Yeah, dead languages, dead civilizations. The Mayans are really interesting. Rome is over studied, but also interesting. You know, really relevant stuff.
God damn it, Eva. I'm so charmed by all of this. Just listening to it, kind of nodding along, like, I just drive the ship, and I navigate, but it's mostly automated. I'm just there as your backup.
Yeah, well, if that automatic navigation fails, I'm kind of glad that someone's there who knows what. I don't know how to. I don't ships. I don't. Well, I'm glad. Nice to meet you. I thought everyone else would be here by now. I think there's not a lot of us going. I don't think.
There's not a lot of us, so it's a small crew going to the far universe.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out when they get here.
She's gonna lean back and goes, yeah, we're gonna die.
And Eva will just like turn back, just kind of like sink in her chair a little bit. And I think by that point, the others start to like file in and things get more official, and you know, the mission is laid out and everything. That we're gonna be shot into space. We're gonna be asleep for 2 years. Asterisk.
Asterisk. We're gonna be asleep. Yeah. Totally. We're gonna have great dreams. It's shit. So the lecture happens. He's like, yeah, you're gonna go check out this signal for us. There's 6 of you. Try not to die on the way there. Good job, team.
Go team. Go team space.
Go team space. We get our briefing packets. We get our headshots done. We do our auditions. All that stuff.
Cool beans, cool beans, cool beans. And then afterwards, we both get asked 2 questions. Perhaps at different times. Well, like separate from each other, but the first question is, what do you like best about this fellow crew member? The second question is, what are you most looking forward to doing on the mission with this crewmate?
I imagine, have you ever seen like the Martian like promo? It's a really weirdly specific thing. I watched a lot of space stuff before Project VHS, and one of them was the Martian. And they had these promo things where they was like in a room and there was like a metal desk, an interviewer recording, and it would just record them one at a time, like, how are you feeling? Are you excited about space? What is your name? And I'm just imagining just cutting back and forth.
Yep. That's exactly how I imagine this. Exactly how I imagine it.
Oh my
Hello.
God, I love it. Yes. We've summoned Santa.
We have summoned Santa. So I think Eva would sit during this recording session, and to the first question, what do I like best about Cain? Well, she seems fairly to the point, which I guess is good. That, I mean, if there's a weird, dangerous something that happens while we're out there, I mean, I'm sure she'll be able to kind of figure it out a little bit easier than maybe some of the rest of us. What do I most look forward? That's a weird question. Is surviving an answer? Is finding, you know, the mysteries of the universe? Is that an applicable answer? I guess I most look forward to getting to know the actual Cain, because I don't think she really likes to talk about things. And I'm not exactly one to speak about opening up, but you know, we're gonna be together in space for who knows how long, so yeah, I guess not dying and learning about this new pilot.
Thank you, Ava. That'll be all.
End recording.
And statement ends. Recorded by Jonathan Sibbs, head office at the Space Training Space Institute for Space
The
Things.
space stuff.
For space stuff. Cain would be sitting, but like the space queer she is not sitting. Like no way, she's like reclined back and like one leg is crossed over her knee, like way back. What do I like about Dr. Delgado? Which was that? Was that spooky, buff, scary, or sunshine? Okay, sunshine. She can read. It's always a good quality when the doctor can read. She bathes. That's always a good quality that I haven't always had in the past. She seems optimistic. Good for morale. What was the other question? And what are you most looking forward to? You just see her face kind of go, crap. What am I most looking forward to doing with Ava? Utilizing her expertise so we don't die in space. See, you're saying it doesn't count, but I'm saying it counts, so I don't know what you want. Bonding, getting to know each other, making cupcakes, holding hands, all that stuff. Yeah, really looking forward to it. I'm gonna go now. He just leaves.
I'm really looking forward to cupcakes, except cupcakes translates to flan because flan is gonna happen. Oof.
It was started as like, oh yes, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna have bonding, sarcastic, and then we're actually having flan and bonding.
We're gonna do it. Alright, cool. Well now, the game begins proper. Or rather, the mission begins. So from that point, it's about a year jump, because we had 2 years of training, is that right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about a year jump. And we're actually doing like simulation stuff. Give or take, on the ship, our mock-up ship. So we get to decide in what order we want to go in for these scenes. And in these scenes, we choose one of our hidden qualities that we want to be tested. We choose an activity from the list of 4 here. Yes, the SS mock-up, as Other Doc says. So we can choose either work, repair and maintenance, discovery, or recreation as one of our activities that we get to do during this scene. And the next point is choose at least one crew member to have this interaction with. Who? But who? It's going to be with both of us.
What?
I know. And then during the scene, you have to make a choice to either make the quality a visible quality to the crew, the other crew member. You can adopt one of the crew member's visible qualities. So if for some reason during the scene, Cain is like, books.
I love book.
I love book. Then you can actually adopt that to be one of your qualities, kind of reflecting how you're changing more into these people that you're spending time with, or you can just create a brand new quality to make visible. And depending on which one ends up happening in this scene, we get to choose how it ends, like most scenes. But we want to try to keep it focused into like that one specific scenario, the one specific area, things like that. If you choose to adopt someone's quality or choose a new one, you actually cross out that hidden quality that you were aiming for, and it's no longer a defining quality for you, at least in this moment, and will never be revealed.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Which is totally fine. Yeah. And then once we get done, after the first and second rounds, we communicate back with Mission Control about some things that we've learned and things like that. But we'll get to that when we get to the end of a scene. So, Madame, would you like to go first?
I do not know why, but I have work or maintenance and repair stuck in my brain.
Excellent.
Because Cain definitely brought overalls and a tool belt. And it's just like, yes, it's finally my time.
I've been preparing my whole life for this.
I have been prepared. I've trained for this one moment.
I have a particular set of skills.
I have a very particular set of skills. One of them. There is one skill. In terms of like simulation, I imagine they would also like simulate things going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe maybe like not life-threatening, like the ship is on fire in space. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But like maybe the ventilation system gets jammed and will lose oxygen eventually if it's not repaired. So like a little like I imagine like a little like pop-up mini Frankie kind of comes up.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh, I've got to do my dad voice. There is a problem in the ventilation systems. I would recommend going to check it out. Dan wouldn't say that. I would recommend going to analyze it.
Yes. Perfect.
I'm just going to not do my impressions of all of the crew now.
So good. Okay. Cool.
And Cain's probably gonna stand up and go like look around her, then like look at Eva and realize, remember that the only two people in the simulation, and go, follow me.
She'll like kind of scrabble and follow along, having no experience with repairing ships, having only read about it, because that's what she does.
I love it. So imagine like we walk down this thing and we go to sort of, I don't know why I'm imagining like the engine room, like there's a blockage in there. The S1 fusion coupling has come loose. I can make space soundy.
You sure can.
And so Cain kind of gets out this like blowtorch thing and starts going. She's just like passes her tool belt down to Eva to hold. And like, let's hold this for a sec. And just starts making the rounds of repairs. And then occasionally reaches down and grabs things, and reaches down and grabs things. And this goes on for a couple minutes, and Cain eventually says, so, we never actually asked, how are you enjoying our simulated adventure?
Well, it's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. I don't know. I imagine there'll be a lot less gravity when we get into, less gravity space place. I mean, She kind of looks around. To be perfectly honest, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I used to, well, until recently, I ran with a couple of groups, and the engines they had were always kind of spotty, cheap makes. So I just figured out how to start fixing things. Found I was good at it. It's more interesting if you know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not really that interesting from down here. Not that you weren't doing a good job, I guess. I mean, we're not, dying, which is good. I guess.
Yeah, yet.
That's comforting.
I'm messing with you. Have you been on a lot of... Well, I'm just going to make a general assumption that you don't spend a lot of time in 0G.
Well, I spent a decent amount of time on Mars, and it was weird gravity, not quite. I mean, it wasn't 0G, but it wasn't. It was less. I don't know. It was maybe, I don't know. It was just different. But no, floating, I never really got acclimated to the floating thing.
Clarifying question, which I've never actually known. Was the Mars incident covered up, or was it news?
It was news in that something happened. What happened? Well, it was news in that it was catastrophic and there was almost no survivors. All right. But what was being necessarily the extent of what was studied there, or the whys and the all of that sort of stuff, I think was kind of swept under because nobody really knew. Quote unquote suspicion.
That's okay then. In which case, Kate is going to keep working for a little bit, and then just say, "Yeah, you said when we were in orientation, you just spent some time on Mars. How long were you there for?"
Off and on for 10 years or so. So a bit of time.
And now you're here.
Now I'm here, and so are you. Have you ever been to Mars?
A few times. I like it, but the climate is difficult to get used to.
Yeah, it sucks.
Plus, it's not so much of a touristy place since, the Mars incident. She's gonna watch you very carefully when she says that.
Eva kind of she doesn't really react initially. It's kind of like the opposite of any reaction. She's just kind of just nodding with a super blank face. And just kind of nodding, even though you're not saying anything else. She's just kind of nodding. And she just hands you just a tool. You didn't ask for it. She just hands you one.
They pull it up, and it's like a spatula.
The equivalent of like how useful a spatula would be in this particular situation.
Yeah, it's like the spatula of tools. And it's just like, Dr. Delgado.
Yeah.
Just passes it back down.
Yeah, yeah, that was a weird thing that happened.
Real weird.
Yeah.
As far as I could tell, no one got any information about it. Just that it was catastrophic.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great. So where'd you come from?
All around. Sort of.
How did you get here? In space camp?
Yes. I guess this is kind of like space camp, isn't it?
As one who went to a very, very lame space camp, this is essentially space camp.
That is the least surprising fact I've ever learned about a person is that you went to space camp.
I had very few friends and very limited interests.
You only had a few friends?
I preferred... Sometimes I'm not great with words, and sometimes I prefer to read them than talk to people. And that kind of makes people not want to be around you if all you're doing is reading and not talking to them. So they leave, and then I'm happier.
Sometimes people don't exactly want to talk to you either, if all you do is give one-note answers and glare at them. People are dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did your parents do anyway?
I mean, they're both retired now. They were professors for ever. Did decently well for themselves, had some like pretty well received papers and, you know, that sort of stuff. They did well for themselves, and now they get to, you know, live on Mars for the rest of their lives because that's exactly what they wanted to do. I never liked Mars.
Kind of a shitty planet.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have any parental stories or siblings or anything cool like that?
Unfortunately, both of my parents are deceased. My father was a trapeze performer in the Moscow Circus, and my mother was a Korean diplomat. It was a very weird match that, for some reason, worked.
That's far more interesting than two crusty professors finding each other at a seminar and deciding, yeah, I think we're compatible.
I don't know. Families are complicated anyway.
Yeah. I think Eva kind of has like a distant kind of distant look to her. Are we gonna be able to breathe now?
Oh yeah, I fixed it like about 6 minutes ago. I've just been doing things because I thought it would make it less awkward.
Okay, well, that's awesome. We should go back to pretending to push buttons or whatever they want us to do.
You want to go get some coffee instead?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, let's go get some coffee.
To the coffee.
To the coffee. Okay. It's like I'm learning things.
Yeah. Yay. Cool. Scene 1. Done.
Scene 1. Done.
Excellent.
Fun fact. Sometimes Cain thought about who her parents might be, and that was one of the stories she made up for them.
I figured as much.
Yeah, and I was like, this is great. Cain, just imagining what kind of lives your parents would lead. Did you have parents? Who knows?
Who knows? Do you want to know who your real parents are? Okay. Let's see. What kind of scene do I want to do? Let's see. I think recreation would be great.
The rec room.
The rec room. Let's see. We will. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, hang on. Before we do that, during that scene, because there's like things, were one of your hidden, so you can either the hidden quality that if you chose one to be tested in this scene, you can, during that scene, I don't think any of those necessarily became visible.
Yeah.
So you can create a new quality to make visible, and add that to one of your visible ones, or adopt one of mine, which is literally just bookworm. So I don't necessarily know if that would apply.
I'm just gonna call it this. Wendy the Welder.
Ooh. Okay.
Because I've been slowly realizing that Cain knows how to fix things.
Yeah.
Doesn't know why, but just knows how to fix things.
I love it.
If only she could fix herself.
Oh. Okay. So you chose to create a new one on the spot. So you cross out the hidden quality that you would have tested in this scene, as it's no longer a defining quality for you in this game. I'm sure it will come in game like, later.
It's dead to you now.
All right. And will never be revealed. At least not in this game. Let's get. Hang on, my music stopped. There we go. So, Because you chose a new quality, you write it down in your list of visible qualities. You've made a permanent change in your attitudes and behavior to adapt to the stresses of the mission and your interactions with your crew. Congratulations.
I have a wrench.
You have a wrench. Okay, so the hidden quality I think that I want to be tested is the lonely quality. So, I'm just rereading through this. The scene must test your choosing hidden quality in some way, whether through circumstance or through the other players asking leading questions, or simply via a desire for your characters on your character's part to share their feelings. Okay. So, recreation. I think that... What? God, Eva only reads for fun. That sucks.
Does it though?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Okay. So I think to set this scene up, she is sitting alone. I will say in the essentially the cafeteria area, the eatery. And she is reading from her thick, well-worn book of Edgar Allan Poe, the complete unabridged works of Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar. And I think from an outside perspective, she's sitting there and she starts to read, and then she puts the book down, and you can see that she starts to kind of fiddle with the necklace that she has on, and you can see her face kind of drop a little bit. And she shakes her head, and she leaves the book on the table, and she'll stand up and go to wherever Cain is.
So Cain is probably... God, I have two things, and one of them is ridiculous. In fact... Okay. So you hear, as you start to walk, you hear the sound of music. Specifically, jammin' 80s tunes. To girls just want to have fun.
Retro.
And Cain is just jamming away to this song, and like dancing and just like playing it at, trying not to be full volume, but is also full volume, like karaoke style. And when she sees you come in, she does not stop.
Interesting song choices.
I hacked into the mainframe. They like the white-haired kid show me how to do it, so I can get like our own music playing.
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask if I could, if you were busy, but you look like you're really, busy?
She starts to turn it down and just goes, "What'd you need? Something broken?"
No, I was just, I have you ever been part of a book club before?
I have been part of something that was called a book club that was not a book club. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, I was wondering if maybe you wanted to I have a collection of works by Poe that are really interesting and would like to kind of talk about them with someone other than myself. If you're not into that, it's fine. I can do something else with my time.
Dr. Delgado, are you asking me to join a book club?
Yeah.
Cool, let's do it.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll have to get you a. No, I have a tablet. It's fine. And she'll kind of turn and start walking back to the cafeteria.
She just hit behind you saying, "Frank. Also, Frankie, delete all that footage. We don't want evidence of all that." And then just start walking.
Definitely isn't deleted because it's definitely on this base. But when you get there, she has the book exactly where it was laid out, and directly across from her is a tablet that has on it essentially a Kindle version of the book that she has in front of her. So it is a weird juxtaposition of very old school, like worn, leather-bound book and new technology directly across from it. And you can see she's kind of just flipping through pages. And when you arrive, she gets up and she actually goes and she pours a couple of cups of coffee. And she puts one on the table and slides it over and puts one next to where she's sitting and sits down. And she says, I pulled it up on the tablet. I don't have like an actual, like, I don't have another book. This was kind of hard to come by, but
she's already picked up the tablet and has started like flipping through it. She's like, so what do you like about it?
About Poe? He's exceptionally melancholic, which is, I don't know. He doesn't try to make things happy for the sake of making things happy. Things, at least the things that he writes, they're real, you know? And I don't know, I guess that's kind of what drew me to his work, at least at first, and then I started to actually like the words, and I don't know, things kind of just made a bit more sense when they were written by a really sad and mildly depressed poet. Have you read any of his stuff?
I've heard bits of it, just snippets on TV shows when it's used.
You've I'm gonna assume you've probably heard a bit of the Raven. That's the one that basically
Nevermore.
Yeah. That's the one that most everybody kind of knows. There's, and she'll just kind of flip through. There's one that's really interesting. It's called A Dream. Which is super, like, it's really sad because it's about dreaming of joy departed and how everything was, how could is joy just a dream, anything like it's really, really sad. There's one, and she kind of just stops and lets the pages kind of fall to one that has seemed to have been opened to a lot. The pages here are a little bit more worn. It's just kind of naturally as if it had been like stretched open there a couple of times, or rather a lot of times. It just falls open there. She says, this one is called Alone, and it is well, it's kind of what the name implies. Here, I can and she kind of just like traces her finger across it for a bit, and she says, well, what do you think of it? And she'll just kind of like look at your tablet and like see that you're on a different poem and just kind of like flick to where it is, and just kind of like scroll down to it. And I mean, I've read it before, but
I've always found poetry's best when it's read aloud.
oh, yeah, kind of like Shakespeare. Yeah, that's yeah. And she'll like take a sip of her coffee, which is great for clearing your throat. Yeah. From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Then, in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery which binds me still. from the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. And then it ends. It just ends. And there's no resolution to it, and you're left with just a weird nothing.
I don't know if it's... I mean, the universe is a whole load of weird nothing. Maybe it's not... I mean, I don't know a lot about this stuff, but maybe the whole point is that it isn't resolved necessarily. Maybe he was lonely and felt untethered to things, and like the world was passing him by, but he was unable to connect with it. Maybe the point is that it doesn't get resolved like a story with a happy ending within the lines of poetry or the lines he was given. Maybe being lonely is something you forget is there, and then you find something or someone that makes you actually not forget it's there, but chases away that lonely feeling, sort of like an anchor. And maybe what he was saying was not that it ends with nothingness. Maybe he was saying that the end is open and there are so many possibilities about where it could go. Because, the thing with happy endings is they're endings. This is opportunity. A chance. Repeat the same cycle over and over again. Or change it. I don't know a lot about poetry. Maybe he just really wanted things to sound dramatic.
Yeah. Thanks. That was really cool. And she'll close up the book. There's a thing that I
Ava.
Thing.
Ava. I like book club. We should do book club again.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can, yeah. She'll close up her book and take it out of the room.
Why? She's so... Oh, the alone poem. Pulling out the big gun.
Put that in there. So to peel back the curtain a little bit, during some of the side scenes that occurred between episodes 1 and 2, there was also more book club that happened to kind of like, but well, it was between these two, between Cain and Eva. Remember, we had a book club.
Oh yes, we had book club. We had book club.
We had book club.
We didn't. Wait, no, we actually did. Oh my god.
We literally did.
We literally had book club.
We did, and yeah, you asked Ava to read from Poe, and I think she read The Dream.
Yeah.
And she cried. She cried, and she cries a lot. She's very emotional, which is totally fine. She's full-blooded Puerto Rican. She's got a lot of emotions that need to come out.
Feel your emotions.
Feel them.
Emotions are good.
All right. Well, her hidden lonely feature is now visible. Oh. So that I can have it marked off on mine, which hidden feature did you decide to not address anymore?
Oh wait, which hidden feature? I chose what I was trying. The blackmail one.
That's what I figured. Cool.
Because I was like, oh, that's how it works, and I was like, oh crap, I was wrong. It's okay.
Fine. It's fine. Okay. So now that we finished the first round, we do a mission report. So we answer each of these questions for each of crewmates, so each other. What do you like about working with this crewmate? And if there was one thing you could change about this crewmate, what would it be? I can go first again. So I think at this point it would be more of like a video log, since they're simulating being in space. So Eva's in like her personal quarters, or the mock-up of what would be her personal quarters. And she like pulls out like a piece of paper that has very computer font on it. That literally has like 7 questions, or like a full sheet of things that she's supposed to go through, and she says, okay, what do I like about... God, these suck. What do I like about working with Cain? Well, they sure as hell know how to fix the ship, which is great. They're open to trying new things, I guess. They're really insightful, which is... It sounds bad, but it's kind of surprising. Yeah, they're really surprising. There's something I could change about them. Their taste in music, for one. I guess... be more honest, because I highly doubt that their parents were as interesting as she made them out to be, but maybe they are. You know, maybe they're, I don't know, really normal and disappointing. But I don't know, I feel like they're still kind of hiding behind a shell of something, and I don't know. I don't think training exercises will help with that, but I don't know. Maybe space will change everything. And recording.
Little did she know that space would change our lives
Everything.
forever. And space would change everything. So Cain is gonna get out the list of computerized font thing that she's supposed to answer, and she's like, nope. Just looks at it. I'm not. No. What do I like? What do I like? Is it what do I like about working with them, or what do I like? What do I like about working with Dr. Delgado? They're really good at holding my toolkit. It's always a good quality, and they don't complain. I mean, she did say it was boring, but I mean, it was boring. But they don't. She doesn't whine. She's helpful. She has this weird quality where she's simultaneously only one of the lonelier people I've met, but there's this weird niceness to her. It's really weird. I'm still trying to figure out what her deal is. I mean, she's just nice. Maybe people who go through the worst stuff sometimes come out wanting to make sure other people don't suffer on the other side. Whatever, can't relate. What would I change about? I don't. What would I change about? I would change the amount of belief she has, because I'm gonna say it, she's pretty smart. And if she believed in how smart she was and in who she is, I think we get to the point a lot quicker. I guess, yeah, I just more belief. And recording. We're like onions. We have layers.
We have layers.
We're a layered cake.
A trifle.
Oh, a trifle.
A trifle. Excellent. Cool. So now we get to do that again. Again.
Let us play again.
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 So some time passes. And we get to do some more things together. So Val, if you would like to choose work, repair and maintenance, discovery, or recreation as your next scene.
Oh, okay. What do I...
And I think those can be interpreted in whatever way you seem fit. Because we're not really discovering anything like aliens.
My God, we found the goo!
We found them, and it was right here on good old terra firma.
Don't worry, there's no need for us to go into space. We've solved the mysteries. They just
the mystery was friendship. It was in us all along.
It was inside our hearts all along.
Yeah.
May the friendship be with you all. I'm probably gonna... It seems like a good lead-on to this. I would say they do a couple more sessions of book club. And in this scene, the hidden agenda would be the dyslexia. And Ava will notice that Cain, when they're in book club, Cain flips through, like, you see the eyes scanning the page, not really pausing, they'll flip it, and if if you ask us like, what do you think about it? I was like, I don't really know about poetry. What did you think about it? Oh yeah, I get that. I see that now. Thank you for explaining that to me. And it's just like, or asks you, oh, could you read it aloud for the experience?
I think after like the fourth experience, I think Eva kind of picks up a little bit. And uh, one of these book clubs will she will say, I thought that today, instead of reading what I like or discussing esoteric poetry or anything like that, we could talk about, maybe something you like reading, or a favorite movie or music. You seem to like music a lot. What's some of your favorite music that you like to listen to?
I have found that I apparently love disco. I apparently know the words to several songs. And it's the lamest thing. Trust me, I know. And this does not leave the ship because I don't like too many people know. But also, I love music. There's only so much I can go without listening to music, especially when I'm flying. Just when you've got bass in your eardrums and the feeling of the ship as you're steering and swirling. It's sort of a rhythmic thing that's really hard to explain.
I mean,
Uh,
I get that, because I mean, music and I mean, poetry and really like any kind of art, it kind of talks to you more than, sometimes easier than like talking.
I like uh, I like poetry. I like the I like Poe, and there are other things I've heard that I like. Yeah, they get the words down right, and I'm not the greatest with emotional expression of the word kind. I've been avoiding Dr. Metzley since she arrived. She keeps wanting to talk about my feelings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but it's, I mean, I, I won't lie. Disco's an interesting, an interesting choice. A very It hasn't really been around for a while. I mean, it had kind of like that resurgence back in like 2050, but I mean, it speaks to you, and I think that's important. That's something, regardless of what anyone else thinks of it, they can all just like looks up to where there's obviously cameras. They can deal with it.
Dr. Delgado, such strong language. I mean, contain yourself.
Trying to still make a good first impression. Well, I guess it's not a first impression at this point. We've been doing this for like a year.
Wait, are you trying to still make a good first impression on me or the training suits?
I guess a lasting impression. A good lasting impression. They are sending us into space.
Yeah, they are. It's sending us into space. The key word being us, not them. So, in my opinion, I don't know them jack. And I always think it's, I don't know, I mean the disco thing is one thing, but hey, it's a waste of time to worry about what people think of you. Because most people don't really gel with me anyway, and I don't gel with most people, so it's a system that works. But yeah, you don't owe them. Yeah, they're putting us on a spaceship to go and investigate something that's potentially dangerous, so they don't have to. It's Frankie floating closer to your face, like, hi. Why do you mind about making a lasting impression?
Because I want... If I'm gonna be remembered for something... If we die in space, I want to be remembered for something that isn't related to situations that were out of my control or just some stupid thing that I said while in training. That's why. People make a lot of assumptions about you when you go through stuff.
When you survive?
Yeah.
I find it goes either one of two ways. Either they look at you like you're a wounded animal, constantly needs reassuring and protecting, like treating as if they need to be wrapped in cotton. Or they look at you and you see it kind of cross in their eyes as they ask themselves exactly what did you do to survive? How far did you go to get it? And that's the one that comes with fear. Either way, they don't get it. You can't judge anyone who wasn't there. You can't judge someone for making choices when you have no idea the crap they went through. So, I prefer fear. And I mean, I don't know what it was like for you. And I don't pretend to ever know what it was like. But for me, didn't even think about it. Just reacted. I made a choice that wasn't a choice because never had a choice. People can judge me if they want. I know what I am.
That's good. Yeah, that's yeah. I know that you're a damn good pilot who has a weird fascination with disco music. And that's enough. You know? Other stuff, other stuff matters, I guess. In like a grand cosmic scheme of things, but you know how music speaks to you, and you know how to pilot a ship, and those are two very, I don't know. You know how to use words sometimes.
Sometimes. It's... At some point during these missions, there sometimes comes a choice. You get a choice between, let's call it the needs of the many versus the needs of the few. The less you know about someone, the less attached you are. The easier it is to make that choice. The less it eats you up. It's not... It goes both ways. That choice. So, if some people on this mission try and stay distant, whatever reason, maybe it's because they're making sure if you do have a choice between the needs of the many and the needs of the few, you choose the needs of the many. Survival isn't pretty. It isn't nice and it isn't fair. And sometimes those choices are what save you.
I think Eva just kind of sits, like, she sits back in her chair and just kind of looks at the closed book that is sitting on the table, as book club no longer is in session. And just seems kind of lost in her thoughts. And doesn't really say anything. letting silence prevail. Is there anything else that Cain would like to add?
No, it's Kane's letting silence prevail there.
Hello.
Yeah.
And scene.
Silence is also an option.
Hey. Wonderful. Welcome to the party, Dyslexia. And also feelings.
And also feelings.
Hey. Okay. I'm gonna go with work.
Work.
God. Okay. This is gonna be... I would like to attempt to explore, or rather test, my cautious hidden quality with this. Because I think with this work, it's literally paperwork.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's the worst. It's I think a lot of like background information that we still have to hash out about ourselves, as well as the like the busy reading paperwork, like the annoying stuff, like the policies and procedures manual that nobody read.
We have the policies, the health and safety book that's like 7 volumes.
Yes, yeah, that sort of work.
The first thing on page 1 is, if encountering an alien with weird tendrils like a jellyfish,
do not touch.
It's just like scratched out by Billy.
Yes. So I think this is one of those like mandated work days. And at this point, Eva is she is going over I think she has pulled up on a tablet, not like regulated work material, but it is in fact the recent history of the UNS space program. Or the UN space program, rather. And is kind of skimming through names and faces and the heads and leads of different departments and recent events, kind of getting a history of this place that is sending them into space, which is not mandated work material at all, but it's what she's doing today. When we're supposed to be reading the mountain of material that we have.
My gosh. No. But think of the workload.
Right. And I think she probably brought her work to wherever Cain was working, because I'm sure Cain would not like to spend an entire day reading if they could avoid it.
I'm just looking through this paper like, this makes no...
I just can't. Yeah. Although you could have, like, Frank 0.5. Like,
that's what she's got, like, Frankie, like... she's got, like, an earpiece in, and, like, Frankie is, like, scanning the page, and it's just getting, like, going through an earpiece.
Yeah. Okay. I think at some point during this, like, really quiet and lame, like, reading session, At some point, Eva will just flip her tablet over and like slide it in your direction. And she'll, and on it will have essentially just like a newspaper clipping of like essentially like a tragedy strikes Mars, and essentially it's just like a newspaper clipping of the Mars incident. And she'll kind of flip that over to you, and like kind of in a slightly whispered tone will say, I don't mean to be like a conspiracy theorist, but, and she'll just kind of like zoom in on a couple of portions of it. The UN was like really interested in the aftermath of all of those things. I have, let me, and she'll like from next to her, she'll pull out a couple of pieces of like actual paper, because paper is important, and she'll write on them a couple of questions, or rather she'll write one question, but it's kind of long, and the question will read, well, it's a statement followed by a question. The statement is, I feel like they took special interests in the only survivor from this site. What are your thoughts? Question mark.
And Kate is gonna see, like, Spanky, Spanky's gonna try, and then she's gonna, just kind of start swirling writing. And it's very, like, chicken scratch handwriting. Because my handwriting is also terrible. And on it says, yeah, if I was a creepy, mysterious company employing a bunch of people to go into space to find a signal, I can see why they'd take a special interest. I don't think. Scratches it out. It's sketchy.
She'll take it back, and she'll like fold it up and put it back in amongst her books. I don't like it. It just feels weird. All of it just feels weird. And just kind of like lean closer and just get a quieter tone. It just feels too coincidental that so soon after an event like that happens and they're at my doorstep, they say, "What opportunity of a lifetime." You know? Did something like that happen with you, or?
It was an opportunity of a lifetime, but the lifetime was in a slightly different context. And did they came to your door to recruit you?
Yeah, they came and found me.
They came and found me too. but they shouldn't have been able to find me. If you catch my drift.
Well, that's...
If they were interested in the only survivor of the Mars incident, after taking a special interest in the Mars incident, I think they might have been doing it for a very particular reason, to get that person on this mission.
It would make me feel a lot better trusting the individuals who were shooting us we're gonna be flying through space for 2 years to what? And a potential blip. And sure, they're trusting us with a lot of things, but like I don't think any of this is in our best interest. I don't know.
Some things. First thing, I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you, but you can absolutely not trust the people who are jettisoning you into space to go find a blip. You know that. I know you know that. You can't trust them. And hoping you can won't change the fact that they'd probably stab you in the back and leave us in space and cover it all up. And part of me thinks that's what they're planning if this goes wrong. So I would set up a contingency to let anyone you care about know that you are going to the far space. Because I'm not sure how successful our communications will be once we get out there. Second of all, the way you take back control when you cannot trust the people you are working for is you figure out what they want. They want the blip. They're willing to fund an entire space mission to get it. But see, here's the thing. We're the ones going to find it. We're the ones who are going to get it and have all the information on it. That's a bargaining chip. If anything goes wrong, you just ensure that they lose everything they just paid for so much to get.
I feel like you've done something like this before. Seem to know a lot
People in Merc crews don't value the lives of the people in their crew very highly. So you figure out what they want. Sometimes you have to make yourself valuable. Or you take it first.
And how do you feel about this crew?
I don't know. You don't know crew until you're lost in space, drifting, starving, with options at your side. You don't know anyone until they're pushed to their breaking point, and then you see who they truly are. The nicest person in the world can be the first one to jab the knife in your back. It's safer just to not trust anyone.
It's awfully lonely that way, though.
I'm alive. I survive.
An empty shell survives. I'm all too familiar with that feeling.
Sometimes the empty shell survives because that's all the person was in the first place. If you've always been a shell, what have you got to really lose by pushing forward? You shouldn't trust me either.
Keep that in mind. We'll see when we're in the depths of space starving together, huh?
We'll see. Personally, I like to screw over the bosses before we screw over ourselves.
Well, they're gonna be an awfully long way away.
That's why we have contingency plans.
I'm really bad at those. I'm not exactly a planner.
Okay, if you keep this to yourself, you can keep things to yourself, right?
I don't know, do you trust me?
Not really, but this one doesn't matter too much. And she passes you over an email address. She says, if you want to record a message that will get through, send it before we go and send it to that email address. Just tell him you know Longshot and he'll do it.
Why are you giving this to me?
Because you've got a nice, normal parental unit on Mars. You have people who'd miss you. You want to be remembered? We get out there, they're going to make sure no one remembers our names. Make them remember yours. And thirdly, because it'll piss him off slightly, and I really want to see that. He's harmless. And he owes me a crap ton of favors.
That language, though, I don't know if I can handle it, Cain. I don't know if I can.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll go back to my pleas and thank yous.
On that note, thank you. It's the thought that counts. At least. I'll leave you to your reading. She'll scoop up her stuff and the email and everything and leave.
I forgot what being in pre-spaces Kane's headspace was like. Like, these are my children now.
Right.
And you're like, I don't trust anybody. Everyone will betray me. It's still a little bit like that, but she's like, well, I'm very attached to these people now.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. Cool. So, yeah, Eva is super suspicious and cautious about this stupid institution.
I mean, like, fair.
Like, it's, oof. Okay. So yeah, that is much more of a, she's cautious and she's scared of everything. That never comes up ever.
But she's like, the thing with Eva, the thing about Eva is, she is scared of things, but she still does them.
Mm-hmm.
So like, she's like, I'm very scared of this. I'm not gonna let it stop me doing it though. I
have to do it.
I'm having to do it.
Yep.
But I'm battling through because Ava.
You're in fucking space. Like, what else are you gonna do?
I have a shuttle. We can drive off, take that ship, and yeet.
We can leave this egg whenever we want.
This egg is not keeping us here. We're keeping ourselves here.
Yeah, well. Okay. So, day 2, we get the same stupid sheet of text with the exact same questions pertaining to our crew member.
Pertaining to your crew member. Compatibility test.
Compatibility questionnaire. Question 1.
What do you like about working with your crew member?
What? This. God. Cain. Cain is honest. Kind of. The things that she shares that are quantifiably true. Quantifiably true. They're real. I can tell when it's real. And even if maybe she doesn't realize it, I don't know, she has a lot of, I can tell that she's been through a lot. I can definitely tell that, and it's that kind of like that wisdom you get when you get like pulled through something. I don't know. It's good. She's smarter than she thinks she is. What change about there has to be something that you can't go through life not trusting people. It's well, not only is it just really sad, but it's you won't have anyone around if you don't trust them. I'm not saying I'm the most trustworthy person or the most trusting person, but you have to start somewhere, and
know if she has, and I don't know if I'm gonna be spending multiple years with someone in space. I think I should start while we're on the ground, figuring out if I want to trust them even a little bit or not. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'll answer the rest of these later, I guess.
Thank you for your report, Dr. Delgado. Tell me, how are you feeling?
And how does that make you feel?
And how does that make you feel, Dr. It's just Metzley, like, just with a recorder, like, yes, learning all the secrets. So Cain is gonna get the same questions through again. I'm like, really okay? What do I like about working with Dr. Delgado? She'll work with me and we can sit in silence. And it's really difficult to find people who can just sit with a silence because there are so many people who want to fill the void with the endless talk. I know, with the endless talking. And she knows how to just sit and be comfortable. She's good at paperwork. She's bright. She doesn't trust you lot, which, gotta be honest with you, none of us do. That's not that hard to work out. You guys know that. S is deep, deep sadness. Like, buried under her skin, and then it got into the core of her, and she's taken root there. I think she has been lonely. And then all that crap went down. And you don't come out the same person you were before after going through that. I think she's just lonely. But is trying to reach out, but isn't quite sure still if she wants to take the hand that reaches back. Frankie, you're gonna delete the last minute of that, right? Cool. What would I change about her? You know what, screw you guys, I wouldn't change a damn thing. There you go. That's your questionnaire. I'll answer the rest of them later. You're just like, no, I don't want to change her. She's perfect the way she is.
I love it. So for the sake of time, I don't think we necessarily need to do a third one. We kind of did a lot, which is all right. If you've met either of us, we know how to work a scene.
We know how to set the scene. Many hair flicks.
So I think the rest of the isolation experiment goes by and it ends. And I don't know necessarily, it might have been a couple of, maybe a week, that we were alone together in this space. And we get to decide collectively how the mission ends and what part each of us has in that ending. It just ends, I think. It doesn't really, like, there's nothing life-threatening or... It's just, okay, another tick on the old clock.
I think there is, when they're like called out, I imagine there's a moment where they're just waiting for the doors to reopen again because they've been sealed. And Kana's gonna do something. She's gonna reach over with, and like she's gonna check to Dr. Delgado, and with Dr. Delgado's consent, she's just gonna tug her sleeve. Just once.
Is everything okay?
If there is a time... Listen, I had someone who used to do this when you get nervous or scared or worried. This means I'm nervous, scared, or worried. You tug back, it means I'm here. So if there is a point in this mission where you feel this isn't like a thing to just go around, just like randomly yanking my sleeve, but there's a point in this mission where you get to a situation where you want some, know that you got, you know what I mean.
So just reach over and just kind of give your sleeve just a little, with your consent, just a little tug. I got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Imagine there's one other thing that happens. Like, I imagine, like, and they have an allotted time for this book club. At this allotted time, Kate is just gonna turn up wherever Ava is and just be like, book club time. Like, just, it's part of the routine.
It's just now. It's there now.
It's there now. It has, like, no context to it.
Yeah, and there's
just,
not
like,
necessarily, like, books that happen.
Yeah.
It's just an allotted time to just be. And I feel like a lot of times it's just sitting in silence, and, you know, maybe Eva is reading and you're listening to music or something like that. Occasionally we'll talk about things. But yeah, I think a little bit afterwards, maybe a day or so afterwards, we give our final mission report. And we're called in to answer some questions about how we thought that the testing went. So the 3 questions that we get to answer now are: how was your crewmate's overall performance? What was your favorite thing about working with your fellow crew member? And would you work with them again? Why or why not? So, I can go first.
Dun-dun-dun.
And then we'll wrap up with basically resetting the stage. I think this is back in that kind of like boring, bland room with the metal table and just like a tape recorder or equivalent. And Eva is just kind of sitting there with like the list of questionnaires. And well, from a technical standpoint, I mean, she can fix the goddamn ship. That's really important. I guess that's all you're concerned about, really. She can work with others. She's able to adapt at least mildly to a very different thought pattern than her own. Overall performance, 9.5 out of 10, because nobody's perfect. What pulls out what was your favorite thing about working with your fellow crew member? Book club. Sometimes, this might be a surprise to a lot of you. Sometimes work needs to not happen. And God, those, I don't know how much, book club is gonna happen during our 2-year space voyage, but God, I hope it sticks around. Just having time to not do anything, I don't know. I feel like there's not gonna really be a whole lot of downtime once we get into that crazy space time. So yeah, my favorite thing is just being able to know that we can be quiet together. We don't have to say anything. This last question seems kind of redundant. I don't necessarily think I have a choice whether or not I want to work with them again. But if I had to choose, I don't know if I'd trust them completely, but I trust them enough to get us there. And I think it'll be less lonely out there in space. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that should really talk to HR or something about rewriting some of these questions, but yeah, that's I'm gonna go not be in a spaceship for a while. And
Recording begin. Kay looks at the questions again. She's like, okay. Clarifying question. Is any of this being recorded and sent back to anything? No? Okay. Alright then. So, what was your crewmate's overall performance? She's too good for you. I mean, that's basic, obvious. I should find like one nice person in the galaxy. And all I could think was, what the hell is she doing here with you guys? Because you folks kind of suck, to be honest. We both know this. She's smart. She's dedicated. She's helpful. She's nice. She talks around things a lot rather than just saying them. But it's oddly endearing, which is weird. You kind of just get used to it after a while, and it becomes part of the charm. I don't know what I call it. So it really isn't getting sent back to them. Okay. She's a good pick. I wish you hadn't picked her. That's the next one. What was your favorite thing about working with your fellow crew member? Book club. No, I'm not going to elaborate on that. Well, then watch the footage then. Would you work with them again? I'm gonna phrase it this way. I hope they don't have to work with me again. Because they're too good for you. They're also too good for me. I will work with her again. I hope. I hope she doesn't have to. I'm gonna go steal something expensive from someone's room now.
Yeah. And then, wrapping up, is as easy as describing to everyone what your character is like after the mission, incorporating their 4 visible qualities, or 3. If you wish, you can say what happens to your character after the mission is over. Well, if you want to see what happens after the mission is over, we have about 6 or 7 episodes of it. They go to space and they work together, along with Marcus Hatsey and Glitch and Dr. Mesley Flores and Dr. Billy Lawless. Them, along with Dr. Eva Delgado and Natasha fucking Longshot Cain. They find themselves on the edge of the galaxy. And a few years later are rudely awoken by their AI, Frank. And thus begins Project VHS a few years down the road.
There's a space egg. There are space things that we don't know what they want from us, but it's not great. It's not good. Great. One of us has a face mask as an extra soul. One of us keeps jabbing crystals into themselves. It's going really good.
Yeah. Space, the void, and those things in between. But oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Reflections.
thinking about reflections. I was gonna say, because I didn't know why, but Cain always had a soft spot for Ava, and like I never really was like, because she was like, she always had like this weird soft spot for Ava, because she was like, oh, she's just just sunshine. And I was like, oh, this makes sense now with the backstory. That she's like, yeah, this is why I have a soft spot for Ava.
And there was always part of me that knew that Cain was a lot more intelligent than she let on, and had a lot more insight on things than she liked to portray. God, this was good.
It was great.
This was so good. I love it when, and I'm sure we fed our own, like, well, what if this made sense in the future? But no, it's so good. I love doing things like these like flashback kind of character building things, and this other doc one, brava, that was very, very well done, very well made. Like it was very, very good, and I'm very glad that you wrote it, and I'm glad that we got to play it together. We got to dive into these characters a little bit more, kind of peel back that curtain a bit more onto the stuff that doesn't necessarily get dived into on stream. And I love it. I love extra stuff.
Yeah, it's like cool to go back to like the training days of things we were doing before.
The good old simple sad days.
The good old simple sad days where we were just lying to each other and ourselves. And now we're just
sad. Now we're just normal sad in space, and nothing bad is happening at all.
Nothing bad. It's happening. Everything is fine. We're all good.
Yeah, we're all gonna make it back in one piece, and we're all gonna make it back. And that's the plan.
See, Natasha's like, I am not dying on this goddamn egg. And I'm like, maybe, Natasha!
But maybe. I think, like, Eva's just now gotten to the point where she's like, maybe there is another option to not just wasting away in space. Oh, yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me on this journey. This was very wonderful.
Thank you for inviting me, for joining you. I loved it. I love getting to spend time with Eva.
Well, I like getting to spend time with Cain, and also you.
Well, also my honorary wife.
So as with all shows that we do, we shall do some outros. Since there's only two of us, it doesn't take as long. But Val,
hi.
Where can people find you? What are you up to these days?
You can't find me anywhere. I'm a mystery and an enigma. You can find me on Twitter. I'm the Nerdy Niffler. On I can't remember whether it's this week or next week, but on Mondays, Maria and I are in Grim Femmes, which is an exploration through trauma and healing through the medium of tabletop RPGs. It's really great. I love everything in it and about it, and it's just so great, y'all. We had such a soothing session, and many things happened. Go watch Grim Femmes! And you can find us here also next week with Project VHS.
It's back.
It's back after Thanksgiving and PAX.
Yep.
We're back.
We're back.
So check us out next week on that. And then on Sunday the 15th, we're doing a stream on So Chatty with Maddie. We're running a game to raise some funds and do some good stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that is me.
Yeah.
Farewell.
Excellent. Hello. Welcome. Hello.
Aww.
Thanks for the resub. I love that emote that you gave me.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh, it's so great. Perfect. Well, on that note, hello. I'm Maria. I am at Happy Capster on Twitter and all the other social medias that I sometimes use. You can find me here many days of the week. On Sundays, I am in Urban Shadows, run by the fantastic Taryn Winnie. We did
There's a lot of things that have happened. I play Kay Belton, and it's a lot. There's a lot of things that happen on Sunday nights. And then Mondays, as Val mentioned, we are doing Grim Femmes together with many other people, run by the beautiful Emma, and it's wonderful and full of emotions. Last week's was great and full of very nice things. Next week might be a bit more traumatic, but it's gonna be good. And then, as Val also said, Project VHS is coming back next week, so please, please, please come back, same time, same place. To watch us go into space again. There'll be a whole lot more of us. Dan will be taking the helm once again. Everybody will be back from PAX, so I'm sure we'll all be real sad at that point, and it'll be great. But to everyone who is at PAX, we love you very, very much. Please stay hydrated. Please stay safe. And to everyone who stuck around, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you like this game, it's Hidden Qualities. You can find it on itch.io. Under the Ad Astra Game Jam. It's free, but also throw money at Otherdoc because this is a fantastic game. It's really, really, really good. And also follow Otherdoc on Twitter. They do a whole ton of stuff on their own channel. So with that, again, if you want to keep track of everything that Variant Rules does, Variant Rules has their own Twitter. They also have a Patreon if you want to help support everything that they're doing. Little things like this, or big things like the Descension to Avernus that's going on Saturday. There is going to be a cool drive happening next Saturday on the 14th, I believe is the date. Trying to get to 1,000 subs, which are 1,000 followers. One of those two, 1,000 of something here on Twitch. There's going to be games all day long, all sorts of programs. So come hang out with that. Support this wonderful, beautiful, creative family that we happen to be a part of. Sub here, follow here. You can follow us on YouTube as well. All of the things that we do here will be available there. So if you miss it, it's okay. It's okay. Go find it there.
Still there.
There's a lot of stuff happening this week. Follow us on Twitter. Follow Variant Worlds on Twitter. Check it out. All that stuff. But until we meet again, everyone, we're just your sad space people in space. And we love you very much. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.